Welcome back, folks. 2 episodes in 2 weeks. This could become habit forming. Get used to it. I'm going to try and keep this level of output up. Anyway, this time around, I want to talk about some more official D&D miniatures, and we'll just bring those in here. Hopefully the glare on that's not too bad. It is pretty terrible. That's one of my things I want to do in the future, is get better lighting. Anyway, these are the HD miniatures. These are from Paizo, and these are a new line of paintable plastic minis for Dungeons & Dragons. These are done, of course, in concert with Wizards of the Coast. And as you can see, I haven't even opened these yet, but I have to say, even just looking at the packaging, I'm fairly impressed with these. I'm a sucker for good packaging, and as single blister packs go, these are very well put together. As you can see, the miniatures, kind of try and bring that in focus there, the miniatures aren't just knocking around in there. They're actually in their own individual trays, which means that when you've painted these, if you want a little transport for them, if you don't already have something to do that with, you can just pop them back in there and keep the paint from getting knocked off. And that's assuming you don't use these bases, and I'll talk about those in just a second. But I do appreciate that level of attention from Paizo and Wizards of the Coast. And as you can see, the package here, it says HD Minis. Let's try and get that in the shot. Yeah, this is HD Minis. Everybody these days throws HD on things, so it's kind of one of those things you can almost ignore. Reaper has an HD paint line, and there's HD minis, high definition. But in this case, even just, and I know it doesn't show up well on the camera, I'll get some shots at the end of the video, and you can hopefully see better what I mean. But even just looking through the package, the level of details on these guys is really, really nice. And again, it doesn't show very well, but like the fur on that fox mini there, I think you can kind of get that in shot. It actually has a good texture on it. And the same with the badger and the rock on the stalactite, the bat's near, with the familiars pack. They actually seem to be fairly well sculpted as plastic minis go. So as you can see, I got the 2 blisters, the fighters, the 3-pack of familiars, and these retailed for $5 each. That is what I got them at. You may be able to get deep discounts on Amazon or another place. I picked these up locally. I got these at Gods and Monsters Comics and Games. There's a link in the description. They're a store here in Orlando. Fantastic folks. Shout out to Todd and Anna down there. But yeah, these are very nicely sculpted for $5 for 2 minis. I mean, that harkens back to the old days when you could go in and pick up a metal mini, which unfortunately they're not metal, but we do what we can. But you could get a metal character mini for $2.50, a Grenadier, a Ral Partha, what have you. So, with that said, let's open up one of these blisters at the very least and have a look at what we've got. And I will just go ahead, and you can feast your eyes on that while I peel this blister open, and it's fairly easy. It just pops open right there. And I will show here on the camera before I get that too open. They've actually got a painting example if you want to follow that. Now, as far as aesthetic, and this is just a personal thing, I'm not crazy about the dungeon punk look, the half shirts, the buckles everywhere, that sort of thing. These aren't too bad. These aren't as bad as some of the worst art that I saw in 3rd edition. So it's kind of getting back to a more practical look, which is nice. So enough gabbing. Let's have a look at the toys. And this is the first time, obviously, these have ever been open. So we're going to have a look. Oh, I like that. These are nice, firm-feeling minis. They're not very bendy at all. I'll bring that around there so you can see that. Hopefully that'll come in focus. Come on, Mr. Camera. There we go. As you can see, yeah, that's got a fairly nice amount of detail to it. It's not very bendy, which is good. I hate a rubbery miniature. I just don't like it. And that's a good amount of detail. You can see there. And as I said, they're pre-primed with Vallejo gray primer. I like gray primer. I prime in white mostly. I've tried priming in black, but I find that obscures the detail that I can see when I'm trying to paint. So gray is a nice step in between. I actually used to use Armory Gray Primer, which is a fantastic primer. If you can find any that's still good, the propellant's still good in the can, or the bottle's still nice and viable, get it. Armory Gray Primer is great stuff, and it's nice to see these here in gray, and I'm going to have a lot of fun painting these. I will probably do a text blog about that. But, yeah, here's the other guy, and, I mean, he's almost identical. Come on, camera. Do your thing. Yeah, but, I mean, in terms of detail and whatnot, this guy is almost identical to the other one. Little bit different, but a couple good-looking barbaric fighters, and both dual-wielding. Isn't that nice? No shields here, although I would imagine that they probably got more. I haven't checked out the full line yet, just the selection they had at the comic shop. So yeah, let's take a look at this next set. Oh, before I do that, I do want to mention these bases. That thing's sliding all over the place. I do want to mention these bases. These are round 25 millimeter bases, it looks like. Now, these are very thin. They're not. They don't have the deep dish bottom like the Games Workshop 25 millimeter bases that you can buy a whole bag of those on eBay for like $10 for 25 of them or something like that. No, these are thin, which is nice, I guess, because it doesn't necessarily put your mini way up high. And you can use them or not. I'm a base guy. I prefer bases, so I will probably use these or another 25 millimeter base and put these in the parts box. So let's go ahead and take a look at the familiars here and see what we've got. Just going to open this. Bear with me a second. Again, a product opening on the Delver's Dungeon. Just pop that open there. Oh, it's going all over the place. Alright, and the badger fell out while I was opening that. But you can see there, it's, well, I hate to say more of the same, but that's essentially what it is. These actually have smaller bases. There's the badger. I'll bring him up. And again, if Mr. Camera will focus in. That's not your eyes, folks. That's my camera. Yeah, there we go. And there it's gone again. But going back to what they said about these being HD miniatures, the detail of the fur on the badger and on the fox is really nice. So it is on this pillar here that the bat is attached to, and that's just a nice piece of scenery. Whether you want to have the bat coming at the party, or you just want something cool sitting on the tabletop, you've got that. And then finally, the fox. And I'm not going to repeat that horrible old meme, because we all know what he says. But anyway, I'm just going to flip him out there. Again, a nice looking mini. And for the price, $5 for 3 critters or for 2 fighting men, I couldn't turn it down. And that's a fine price point for, frankly, some very good looking minis. And I would stack these up against the Reaper Bones any day of the week. I think these actually carry a little more detail, and I can do a point by point comparison maybe with a later video. And here's the small bases. It's kind of nice that they have these smaller ones for the animal minis, although he's kind of hanging over the edge. So I may put him on a larger base, but we'll see. So that's them. And what do I think of them? I like them. I like these a lot, actually. And I realize that the 2 sets of 5 total minis is not much to go on, but if this is kind of the quality level that we're going to see from Paizo on these minis, I say more power to them. I mean, I could definitely put some of these on my tabletop. Now, I've got a ton of Reaper minis and all other kinds. I mean, stuff going back to the 70s in terms of miniatures. But yeah, I have no problem with these. They're nicely detailed. The fact that they come pre-primed is a big plus in my book. The price point is good. The packaging is swell. So yeah, do I recommend these? Absolutely. If you're going to get into painting your own miniatures and you don't already have a bunch to do, or if you have some stuff you want to supplement on your tabletop, these just in my opinion, just kind of based on how they feel in my hand, the plastic isn't real bendy like the D&D miniatures or the Pathfinder battles, which is kind of interesting because these are made by Paizo, as are Pathfinder battles, but I think these are nicer and better minis than the Pathfinder minis are. I think they're a good buy. I think if you're going to do minis, go out and get some of these. These are swell. So yeah, a good purchase. I'm glad I made it. And I hope you liked this video. So if you did, give me a like down below. If you didn't, put it in the comments why. And as always, subscribe. Thank you for your time, and I will catch you next time.